Hey, my friend, I'm so excited for this week's podcast. This is an interview that I did this week with Quinn Coleman, a fitness expert from San Diego, California, and the owner of QN Fitness, who since 2015 has been transforming people's lives by providing health and wellness services, including fitness training, to help clients from all walks of life change unhealthy habits into healthy ones so they can continue to do the things they love most in life. Today, Quinn is going to teach us the benefits of exercise for women over 40 and how to get started if you've never exercised before. Or if you already have the habit of exercise, he'll give tips on what kind of exercises, how much, and how often is the most beneficial so you can improve your mobility, your energy, and quality of life, as well as restore your metabolism. This is episode number 192. Fitness tips from expert Quinn Coleman. This is the Healthy Real Food Podcast. I'm your coach, Erin Hart, a registered nurse and health coach who understands the struggle of feeling out of control around food and has walked the path of transformation, experiencing the miracle of sustainable weight loss with the sugar and flour-free lifestyle. If you are a woman who feels powerless against your cravings and is ready to live your life with more energy, mental clarity, and purpose, there is hope. Here we believe that with God, a mindset of unstoppability, and consistent execution of a winning strategy, anything is possible for you. So if you're ready to find freedom from food addiction, take control of your health, and pursue your dreams with renewed energy, support, and accountability, let's go. Hey, Quinn, so excited to have you on the podcast today. This is so awesome. I'm so glad that we were able to connect. I met with your sister and brother-in-law at my girls' Taekwondo class, and they were telling me a little bit about what you do as a fitness coach. And I just thought it'd be really fun to interview you for my podcast. So thanks for doing this.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. And so from the short time that we were able to talk last week, it sounds like we have a similar mission to help people to improve their health.
Yeah.
So they can live life to its fullest. So for those of you who are listening to this podcast and don't know me, I'm Erin Hart. I help women over 40 to lose weight for the last time with a healthy, real food lifestyle, free from sugar and flour. Back in 2020, after a lifetime of struggling with my food and my weight, I lost over 100 pounds in less than a year and went from being 284 pounds, class 3, morbidly obese, to healthy, energetic, and confident. And I just felt called to help other women like I was who have tried it all and feel out of control around food to achieve their goal body without medications, surgery, fads, or relying on willpower. So, Quinn, tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, and why you started QN Fitness.
I started out as a fitness coach and have slowly evolved into a health and wellness coach because being healthy is multiple aspects of life. It's not just fitness. And if you focus just on one and you don't succeed in the other areas, all areas generally fail. I do more than just fitness. I help with preventative care. I help with injury rehabilitation, basic nutrition, stretching, and mental and spiritual well-being as well.
Yes, I love that so much because really, health is not just about a number on the scale, right? It's holistic. We are more than just a body. We also have to keep in mind our mental, emotional, spiritual health. And one of the things last week when we were talking in preparation for this call that really resonated with me was how you're talking about your coaching not just being about aesthetics. I find that a lot of people, they want to lose weight at first, like to look better, but to really be successful and to keep going even when it gets hard, we have to tap into that deep why improving their health is important to them. So can you tell me a little bit about what you meant by your fitness coaching and your health and wellness coaching, not just being about aesthetics?
We have found that if you focus on aesthetics, what in the mirror you're never really going to be happy with. And if you focus on how you feel and being generally happy, you learn to love what in the mirror. So by helping people have all aspects of their wellness where they want it to be, they generally learn to see what they want in the mirror and instead of see what they wish to have in the mirror. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because you can't hate your way to healthy.
And if
It
you
won't.
focus on a number, we have found that if you focus on the scale number, everybody's weight is distributed differently and muscle weighs more than fat does. And if you have your idea that the perfect body is a certain number, you rarely get there.
Exactly. And I love the approach of approaching your health and wellness from a place of self-love instead of hating yourself to help you. It's like when you don't have to wait to love yourself when you look a certain way or when you weigh a certain number.
Yeah.
We can feel that way right now and have that peace and freedom and love right now, like wherever you are. You don't have to wait. So good. Today, I thought it'd be really helpful to just learn a little bit from you about fitness. A lot of my clients are women who experience food addiction, who feel out of control around food. And I help a lot with the nutrition side. And I also encourage them with exercise, but it is so nice to have a fitness expert that we can just pick your brain
Yeah.
about like some of the things that could benefit them as they're trying to incorporate fitness into their health and wellness transformation. So, can you talk to us a little bit about the benefits of exercise, especially for women over 40?
Without getting into the science, because some people might get lost there, some of the benefits of for women over the age of 40, it's very important for like hormone regulation. When you exercise, your body creates hormones that when you're sedentary, you either lack or you don't produce enough. And those hormones affect every cycle in the body. Some of those include like bone density. When you're sedentary, you lose, your bone density decreases and you become more brittle bone. And for women over the age of 40, to prevent osteoporosis and to prevent injury, working out helps increase their bone density. So that's one of the most important ones. It also, you talked about weight loss. So stimulating your metabolism is one of the most important things that exercise does. So it's hard to lose weight without exercise. Can it be done? Yes. But if you want to see results quicker, exercise is encouraged. And it doesn't necessarily need to be the HIIT or fit style stuff. It just needs to be moving more than you would normally do sitting down at home, watching TV or regular chores around the house. It helps also maintain healthy muscle mass because healthy muscle mass is important for healthy bone structure. And people always forget that the heart is also a muscle and you have to take care of your heart as well. Also, some people that have depression or anxiety issues, exercise helps with dopamine and serotonin production, which helps alleviate anxiety, helps manage stress, and helps manage depression. The more sedentary you are, the less those hormones are produced in the body, and the more anxiety and depression people feel. So that's also another area. And as I just said, exercise is a great stress management. So even though you might not perceive to be stressed in your life, we all have stressors. And a lot of people internalize it, and that internal stress can reveal itself in ailments, in illness. And if you don't want to be sick all the time, or you want to be sick less, exercise helps you stay healthy that way.
Yeah, just countless benefits.
Yeah.
So, it's such an important thing. One of the most important things that you can do for your overall health and wellness.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I feel like nutrition and exercise are just so key, right? And sometimes it can feel overwhelming to try to change everything at once. So, like, what tip do you have for women who may have never had a consistent exercise routine before and they're just getting started? Like, where do you start? How much exercise? How long? I guess, like, starting out, and then what's the ultimate goal that we can shoot for eventually?
So I tell everybody is find out what works best for you. Let's start small and then add from there. But find something that you can do consistently 90% of the time. Oh, a lot of our newer clients that haven't been, a lot of them when they come in, haven't exercised or had a regular program for over 10 years or more because they've had families. So we encourage them to start walking 2 to 3 times a week and start small, 10 to 15 minutes, and work up to 30 to 45 minutes at 3 to 4 times a week. And once you can be consistent in those walks, that's when you start to add in exercise. And we encourage 2 to 3 times a week of 15 to 25 minutes. And then again, increase it to about 45 minutes. And exercise is just taking your normal daily routine movements. The example I used here is like a squat. A squat is really just getting up and in and out of a chair. without using your hands. So it's very important not to assist yourself in movements because then we become lazy. So if you don't have exercise equipment at home, you can use the bench and do just body squats up and down. We actually have a squat challenge we give all of our clients and have them do 10 squats and rest and then do 10 more. And we have them slowly work up to do 100. And that's a great way to start because then you realize how weak your legs are and where you need to build strength. So the
One
ultimate
thing that's interesting that I heard too about the muscle mass in your legs is that it's directly correlated to your brain function as well. So as we age, that's another benefit that exercise does. There's a study that shows that the bigger your muscles are in your legs, like the less likely you are to suffer from dementia. So it really improves your brain health too.
They say your calves are your second heart because they're responsible for blood flow to the rest of the body. So you're right.
That's so interesting because you don't have to kill yourself at the gym 5 days a week for an hour every day when you're starting. It's just start small and build from there. And it's not just about your time at the gym either. It's also just increasing your non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Maybe parking farther away, taking the stairs instead of the elevator. Like sometimes little changes like that can be important too.
Exercise, I tell everybody if you want to simplify, is just doing more than what you do on average.
I love that.
If you move just a little bit more in a day than your average, that's exercise, and then you just add to it.
Oh, that's so good. And it also makes room for progress there.
Yeah.
But having that mindset of progress over perfection,
Yeah.
just doing a little bit more than you were before and a little bit more tomorrow than you were today, a little bit better each day.
So you asked, what is like the end when what do you work towards?
Yeah,
With all of our clients, about five days a week, and we split that between 2 really good strength workouts and 3, not necessarily resistance training, but like a high intensity cardio. So like walking up hills or a mild jog or even speed walking will work. And then on your 6th day, you stretch and take care of the body. And your 7th day, you take a fun activity that is harder than what you would normally do, like a hike or go jog with the dog or play with the kids or the grandkids. Do something that's going to elevate your heart rate. That's going to challenge you just a little bit, but that also brings joy to your life because it's important to not make it a job. Exercise shouldn't be work. You may never learn to. I have a lot of clients that say that they don't love it. They love how they feel afterwards. So don't learn to love exercise. Learn to love how you feel afterward, and that's what you should focus on.
This is so helpful because when I lost all of that weight, I never had a consistent exercise routine. That was one of the challenges that I faced, losing all that weight. Okay, and I did it just through nutrition mostly. Like I did some walking, some yoga, but nothing really consistent. It was mostly just focusing and dialing in my nutrition. But I knew that exercise was the next step. And so when I started I just struggled figuring out how to incorporate that. But I love these tips, kind of where to start, what to ultimately work toward, because it's going to take time to get to that. You don't have to start with the 7 days a week, right? Like you can just start small and that's okay.
Another tip is we tell our clients that if they have problems with accountability, to find somebody who's on the same page as them, who needs to be accountable, and then find a friend and start doing exercise with them. And you may not be able to do it every time you exercise, but being able to do it a few times a week, you hold each other accountable. And we call it healthy competition because when you're doing active exercise with another person, you tend to work just a little bit harder. It's a mental thing because we as humans are competitive.
How do you recommend adjusting your meal plan for exercise? A lot of us that are in this community have a meal plan that we follow that is a healthy, real food meal plan from every food group, balanced macronutrients and healthy caloric target. And adding in exercise, it's something I think that we have to take into account when we're thinking about our meal plan or adjusting our meal plan. I didn't really start exercising a lot until I lost all my excess weight. And then I started exercising more, but I struggled because I don't think I added in enough food because I didn't take into account the extra nutrition that my body needed to fuel exercises. And so it led to some issues. I struggled at times with binge eating, and then that led to weight creep. And looking back, I can see it was probably because I just wasn't fueling my body with enough food and maintenance, especially protein. So what tips do you have for women who are on a weight loss journey and they're eating reduced calories, or who have achieved maintenance and now they're adding in exercise? How do you recommend adjusting your meal plan for exercise?
Nutrition is very complicated, is what I tell everybody, and you're a mad scientist with your own body. So trial and error is key here. Don't be frustrated if it doesn't succeed. Just keep changing it. So with everybody that hasn't exercised, that starts exercising, the one thing I tell them is you're burning more calories. You're going to start being more hungry. It doesn't necessarily mean to eat more right away. The best thing to start is your hand is one serving. If you cup your hand, does that make sense? And so one serving is from the bottom of your fingers to your palm. And if you turn it upside down and hold it, that's one serving. So you're not calorie counting. So doing one serving of carbs before the workout to give you energy, and then one serving of protein afterward to help with recovery and building muscle is the best way to start. And then you can add or take away from there, because some people's metabolism will speed up and some people's won't. Always listen to your body signals as well. Eat when you're hungry. Don't eat just because. And don't eat fast. Remove all distractions when you're eating. Chew your food. And never plan when you're hungry. Because when you plan when you're hungry, you always tend to overeat and add things that you may not do to your normal meals. Supplementing is key too. So if it's hard to eat, like protein shakes, finding the right protein shake. You want something that has 5 ingredients or less. A lot of protein shakes, when you look at the side label, has 30 or 40 ingredients that are fillers or vitamins and minerals, and they're normally hiding things that are unhealthy. So I always say find something that has a basic sugar in it, a basic protein. It's going to have a coagulant that's going to make it thicken up, and then maybe a few vitamins and minerals in it. And that you can start as your post-workout and then eventually add in food. I'm a firm believer that food is the best nutrient source first, and you should always supplement second. But sometimes based on schedule or how large your stomach is, because some people don't have large stomachs because they've been dieting so much that they have shrunk, that you may need to slowly increase the size of your stomach by adding just a little bit more food in. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So in our community, we eat a little differently than a lot of people. Like, we don't do protein shakes or anything. We try to focus on like whole, real food,
Yeah.
the way that God made it. And we eat foods at meal times without snacking in between.
Yep.
But it could be like 2, 3, or 4 meals a day. It's just being consistent and building the
Right.
automation around your meal plan so that you don't have to rely on willpower.
Good.
And so I'm curious, like, with how we approach our nutrition with that, how would that work? So, like, when you talk about the best time to eat around exercise, we could split up the meal where you have some right before and some right after. But is it also okay to like exercise and then eat after? Or is it better to eat before if we are sticking to our meals without snacking in between?
When you start exercising and you're eating, exercising on a full stomach or food in your stomach, a lot of people will experience like nausea, discomfort. So I always encourage trying to work out on an empty stomach first. Monitor your energy levels, make sure that you're not getting lightheaded or feeling off, because that just means that you have a low blood sugar. And if you can work out on an empty stomach, that's best. And then eat afterward.
Okay. I guess it depends too on what kind of exercise you're doing and how much, right? Because when I was doing like an hour a day at the gym, I was trying to not eat anything before and just eat after, but then I'd get lightheaded. And so I made it part of my plan to just eat a banana before and then finish the rest of my meal later
Yeah.
or something. So yeah, it's like you have to just find what works for you and just take into account your energy levels and
It's time of day too. If you are one that's out in the morning, working out in the morning before you eat is a lot easier than in the evening when you've already burned through a lot of your calories. Eating a really good dense meal at night before you go to bed, you're still going to have those triggers in your system when you get up in the morning. And a morning workout is going to boost your metabolism throughout the day as opposed to one later on in the day.
oh yeah, that's great. So let's talk about exercise during the weight loss phase versus if you're eating a maintenance plan. Like many people lose weight only to regain it again, but exercise is such an important part of weight maintenance. After you achieve your goal, after significant weight loss, you talked about the benefits of it, restoring your metabolism. Why is exercise especially so important to help maintain weight loss after you achieve significant weight loss?
I have a really good analogy for that. If you're riding a bike down a hill, as
Mhm.
down the hill, you're going to go faster and faster. But when you approach the bottom of the hill, you start to slow down. And as the road levels out, if you don't continue to pedal, what happens? The bike stops. And the
Mm.
body's the same way. So when you're working towards weight loss, a lot of people, you're going to work out more, you're going to do it more frequently. You're speeding up that process so that you see more results. And then you start seeing those results and you start backpedaling off. And so those results slow down. So if you get to the bottom of the hill where you want to be and you stop, what happens? You backpedal. You lose them. You start to return back to what your body considers to be its normal state and where it's comfortable, not necessarily where you're comfortable.
Yeah,
And you
that's
want to
such
keep
great
that going.
analogy.
So you're going to work more, you're going to work a little harder during the progress phase, but the maintenance phase, you have to continue doing some, maybe not as much. I tell my clients the maintenance phase is the most fun phase because that's when you can focus more on self-care, like meditation, yoga, massages. You don't have to look at going to the gym every morning and sweating for 30 minutes. You can divide it up and do more cardio and less strength training and just maintain the muscle mass you already have.
Those are such great tips. So I recommend that people start exercising during the weight loss phase, and it's really different for everyone, depending if you're starting weight loss with the habit of exercise or not. If people are coming to me with the habit of exercise already, that is awesome, and I just tell them to keep doing what they've been doing, and then we just optimize the nutrition part. But when people come to me when they have been feeling out of control around food and they're not exercising either, it can feel so overwhelming to change everything all at once. So in my program, we start with nutrition. And once eating healthy doesn't feel hard anymore and it's automated, then we add in exercise a month or two after they start. With adding in the exercise after they start, I think that's really important to do it during the weight loss phase because waiting until you get down to where you want to be with your weight, I feel like it makes the transition harder with adjusting your meal plan. And it's really helpful to make the habit of exercise during the weight loss phase because then when you're transitioning to maintenance, you're not having to take into account exercise when it comes to adjusting your meal plan. I love all of the things that you've talked about so far. This has been so helpful. You have some really great analogies and examples.
Thank you. I love sharing. I could talk about my job all day long.
I know it's so rewarding and fulfilling. So, how did you decide to start this business?
That could be a really long story, but I'll do short. So I was in sales for 10 years. I worked for T-Mobile and I was going to school and in advertising. And I graduated in 2009 when the market crashed and was told that there were no marketing jobs in the field. So I spent one more year in sales and then took 6 months off to figure out what I wanted to do. And somebody that was a friend of mine that was getting into fitness took me through a 30-day program. And I had never really learned how to work out the right way with form and how many sets and how many reps. And I gained 10 pounds of muscle in a 6 month period, which was a lot for me. And I love that. I love the process. So I decided that's probably what I want to do in my life. So I got certified and started at 24 Hour Fitness. And you don't choose your clients. They give them to you, or you have to approach them on the floor and acquire them. And a lot of my clients that they were giving me had special needs. Like I had a man with Parkinson's. I had a woman with a hip replacement, another woman that had some neurological problems in the body. And I didn't know how to appropriately work with them. So I slowly began to educate myself. And I became certified as a medical exercise specialist, which is an assistant physical therapist. And being in a corporate gym environment, I wasn't able to adequately help my clients because that gyms are just for what we call the meatheads. And trainers are very cookie cutter. They don't change the workouts based on the needs of the client. They're very the same workout with every client. So I decided to branch off and open up my studio in 2015. And through the certifications that I have, it branched off from just fitness to self-care and preventative care and life coaching, and which has led to the nutrition cert that I got. And COVID helped me out because my studio is here at home. And a lot of the gyms that closed, my neighbors started coming to me to work out with me and to be healthy and stayed on. And then I brought on a female trainer who also has the same background as I do, but with yoga as an addition. And we've been building our clientele, and our goal is to help people do the things that they love to do the most without injury, and then to teach good, healthy habits that you can sustain through your day to day.
Yes, it's really not just about looking cute in jeans or anything.
Yeah.
It's really about being able to have all the energy and strength that you need to fulfill your life's purpose, to chase your dreams, to do everything that you want to do.
Yeah. We have a philosophy here that even if you don't feel like working out, show up and we can talk. We sometimes go on walks. As long as you leave feeling better than you walked in, the day was a success. And that's all I can say we're 100% on that.
Yeah, success is really just 90% showing up. And it's
That's
just
great.
like staying in the game. The people that win the game of healthy weight loss and lifestyle transformation are just the people that stay in the game and stay
Yeah.
consistent. I love what James Clear teaches about creating a new identity. First, we have to just decide who it is that we want to be and then prove it to ourselves with small wins.
It's funny you say that. I just finished the Atomic Habits.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
It's so life-changing. That really helped me to change my life. And because that's the key to sustainability is creating that identity shift. And we change our identity by watching our own behavior. So even if you're a person who has never worked out before, the first step to becoming fit is just deciding that you are now and then taking action to show yourself that's true. So start small. Quinn said, you don't have to start with 60 minutes of intense weightlifting. James Clear teaches that start with automating the first 2 minutes. So just put on your workout shoes each day for a week and then automate that habit and then maybe walk around the block. And having that flexible framework is also important. Don't tell yourself I'm going to do this every single day. Maybe just start with, like Quinn said, just 2-3 days a week, 15-minute walks to just keep that promise to yourself no matter what.
Yeah.
And then build on it. Just focus on that progress over perfection.
One of the quotes that we have stolen, and I don't remember from where, it says, there is no motivation without action first.
Mm-hmm.
You sit around and wait for motivation, you won't find any. You just have to get that first step forward and move. And that's what James Clear said by that first 2 minutes. Put the shoes on, grab your keys, walk out to your car. That motivation itself is powerful and it will get you there.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that is life-changing to understand that you don't need motivation or willpower. You just need momentum. Like the motivation comes after you start taking action.
Right.
Yeah, one of my clients was such a master at this. And she started, when she was starting with her exercise habit, she just started with 2 or 3 like 5-minute walks. And that's all she was able to do. But she was really consistent at it. And once that became easy, she built on that. And by the end of the year, she was consistently walking 45 minutes, 5 days a week and doing 2 or 3 the resistance training. I can't remember. But yeah, so it's just, there's hope, right? For those of us that struggle with it.
There's always hope. I tell everybody, if you get discouraged, that's when you stand back, reevaluate, and go, what am I doing? Am I trying to do too much? Because a lot of times when people want to change, they try to do too much all at once and they become overwhelmed. And being overwhelmed is what discourages us first. So change that feeling of being overwhelmed to be underwhelmed. Do just a little bit. And then once you see that small progress, you'll want more.
And it's not just a physical transformation. Like what you were saying, it's so important to focus on not just your body and your physical transformation, but also doing the inner work with your mental, emotional, spiritual health. When I lost over 100 pounds, it was a really dramatic physical transformation. And that's what people saw, but they couldn't see what was even more important to me, which was that transformation I had inside. I became a new person and thought differently and learned how to process emotions in a healthy way. And so really to be able to have long-term sustainability with our health goals, we have to also focus on that inner work and addressing the underlying issues that caused us to gain weight in the first place. So in closing, Quinn, what encouragement would you give to someone who is struggling to build an exercise habit or who feels overwhelmed or doesn't know if they can do it?
I think it was Zig Ziglar. Growing up is sometimes you just have to stand in front of a mirror and lie to yourself and tell it's the truth. So if you're struggling and you're not seeing the results you want, still stand in front of a mirror and say, you're good enough, you're worthy enough, you can do this, you're struggling right now, and there's nothing wrong because struggle is normal. Kind of like the fake it till you make it kind of stuff. Sometimes you just have to do it till it becomes consistent. And your progress is not going to be the same as everybody else. Everybody progresses at a different rate.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you're doing it and you're putting that foot forward, that's progress right there.
And it's okay that it's hard. Embrace
That's
it
okay.
being hard. That's the price that we
Gives it value.
Yeah, that's the price we pay for the success we ultimately get. I heard an interview from a Olympian one time that was talking about how her coach told her a third of the time this is going to be really fun and easy. A third of the time it's going to be really repetitive, mundane, and boring. And a third of the time it's going to feel really hard and you're going to want to quit. You're going to want to give up and nothing's gone wrong. That's just the success path, is that there are ups and downs, and the key is just taking action despite how you feel, despite your emotions, right? And that's how we can achieve a transformation with your health. But for those of you who are listening, I just want to talk to that one person out there who's listening to this call, who's sick and tired of being sick and tired. We see you. And I know that sustainable weight loss feels impossible, that you're doubting yourself because you've tried and failed countless times in the past. But the good news is that your past does not equal your future. If you only take one thing away from this podcast episode, this interview with Quinn today, it's just that there's hope. You don't have to change everything all at once. Start small, and more of it gets more. And by consistently executing small habits with patience and time, the impossible becomes possible. You don't need motivation. You need momentum. Like a rocket ship blasting off into space, it takes 90% of the fuel to just get 20 feet off the ground. But it's only hard until you create a habit. So once you create and start automating these habits that Quinn talked about, you'll be able to fly at 17,000 miles an hour with just a little bit of fuel. So that is the power of momentum. It's not about willpower or motivation. You just need to start taking action and start small. Remember your deep why, stay committed and disciplined. Discipline is your path to freedom. You may not feel strong enough to do this on your own. So if you need support, reach out to Quinn or to me for help. Reach up to God for help. Like, I'm a witness that with God, all things are possible and that He has the power to make our greatest weaknesses into our greatest strengths.
100%.
And Quinn and I are cheering you on. So Quinn, how can people get a hold of you if they live in San Diego and they want to work with you? What's the next step?
My phone number. Can I give that out?
Yeah, for sure. And I can put it on the show notes too.
619-243-4244. I'm a texter or a phone person. Email is a little bit harder because I only check email once a week because most everybody we have through text now because text is immediate. I don't have a website yet because we're strictly a referral-based business. And we like that because the few people that have shown up at the door that were referrals, they tend to not stick with it. And people that are referred know what they're getting into. We create we call it a fitness family environment. Everybody knows each other. We do 3 parties a year so that everybody gets to know each other and we all celebrate in each other's successes. If you don't know anybody, you're coming into a family. So that's always a good thing.
Wow. Just so different from getting a membership at the gym. That's so amazing, the community that you've created there, and really exciting. All the good work you're doing to help people transform their lives. So thanks so much for coming today, everybody. We'll see you next time. Thanks for listening today. If you enjoyed this podcast, you're going to love my coaching program. If you're struggling with your sugar and flour-free lifestyle and want to lose weight for the last time, I can help you. I guarantee that you achieve your goal body within a year, or I will coach you for free until you do. Just imagine living in your goal body and having peace with food. Your success is guaranteed. To learn more about how to get support, guidance, and accountability so you can find peace with food, achieve your goal body this year, and have more energy, visit www.healthyrealfood.com. While you're there, be sure to sign up for the upcoming free challenge to learn the Success Framework, and click the link to my schedule for a free 30-minute one-to-one coaching call so we can get you started on your success path. You have the power to create the life that you want. This is the year of you. I'm cheering you on. Now go win the day. You got this.